Namaste, and thanks for joining me with today's meditation. It's just called AUM Meditation. And before we get started, I'm just going to do a little bit of explanation because we'll be using some sound as well as some movement with our heads. So the sound of Om, we're going to be separating it into three separate sounds. The first is Ah. The second is Oh. And the third is Mm. And with each of these sounds, we're going to have a movement with our head. So with the Ah, as we're making that sound, we're actually going to bring our chin up towards the ceiling as we say that sound. Ah. Then we'll bring our chin level so that we have our neck and our spine are in a line, and that will be the sound Oh. And then we'll be putting our chin towards the chest, and that will be Mm. So we'll be making these three sounds, kind of bringing them together in one breath. So we'll be lifting the chin up, inhaling. Ah, oh, And then inhaling slowly and beginning again. And we'll all have different breath rates. We'll start together. The other key part of this mantra meditation is kind of having each sound get longer. So the ah maybe will be for a count of 1. The o will be maybe like a count of 2, and the for a count of 3. And it's just taking your time through each of the sounds, taking your time through the inhale back up, and beginning again. And as we're going through this, we'll be first starting nice loud voices, full voices, and then I'll cue and we'll start to soften the voice with a few rounds to a whisper. And then finally, we'll still be doing the movement with our head, but the sound will be in our minds. We'll repeat the sound in the minds and doing that for a bit. And then I'll cue when to slowly start to bring the sound back up. All right. So getting in a nice, comfortable, seated position, whether it's on the floor, on a chair, spine nice and long. And let's take a normal breath in. Let it out through the mouth. Let's do that one more time. Nice inhale. And let it out. Good. Then we'll begin. Inhaling, bringing that chin up. And we'll start to get a little softer. And then in our heads, continuing with the movement, with the sound in our minds. And we'll slowly start to bring the sound back. Uh, Be fully in your sound again. One more time. And then bringing head just back to neutral. Just being in this space from the vibrations of the sound. And feel free to stay here for a little bit, just being in this space, gently being aware of the breath, just being for as long as you'd like. And thanks for joining me. Namaste.